Assalamualaikum, welcome back class to the online mode of learning. I am your instructor Mehpara Nadeem, and this class is for MPA 4th morning, and the course is governmental auditing, and we are discussing chapter number 3. And in chapter number 3 we have already discussed the kinds of audits. We have discussed auditing, we have discussed scope based auditing, purpose based auditing, and we have discussed continuous audit, characteristics of the continuous audit, application of the continuous audit, some advantages and disadvantages of continuous audit, precautions of continuous audit, and we have discussed final auditing, some advantages of final auditing and some disadvantages of final auditing. So today we are going to basically discuss the interim audit. Now as we have a differentiation between the continuous audit, we have made the differentiation between final audit. So here we are going to make some differentiation between interim, final, and also the continuous audit. So first of all, basically interim audit basically refers to an audit that is conducted on a particular date within an accounting period. ये उस तरह का audit है जो कि एक particular date पे basically किया जाता है और किसी accounting period के अंदर. So basically in large scale business concerns, the performance may be checked for a particular part of the year, and depending upon the amount of work, the auditor may check the figures of a month or quarterly, we can say. So this is interim audit. There are other definitions of interim audit as well. Basically interim audit involves the audit work that is conducted prior to the fiscal year end of a client, and the interim audit tasks are conducted in order to compress the period needed to complete the final audit. So that is basically the interim audit. So we say that interim audit refers to an audit conducted on a particular date within an accounting period, जो कि एक particular date पे किया जाता है. So we can say that ये जो interim audit है उसको हम किसी भी particular date में करते हैं. So moving forward, there are some other definitions of interim audit as well. R.J. Williams basically says that an interim audit is one when the auditor completes an audit up to date of a set of interim accounts, for example quarterly or half yearly accounts. So interim audit को हम basically एक particular date पे कर रहे होते हैं. So basically there is another author, L.R. Howard. So it defines interim audit as this is when an audit is conducted to a particular date within the accounting period. So ये जो है हमारा होता है जी interim audit. So or we can say कि interim audit which is conducted in between two annual audits with a view to find out interim profits to enable the company to declare an interim dividend is known as interim audit. And the objectives of interim audit is to know profit of loss of interim period, and to distribute interim dividend, and to get loan on the basis of interim accounts, and to get information about the financial position of the interim period. So this is we can say that it is interim audit. I have discussed with you about interim dividend already in the last class, but if you still want to know that what is interim dividend, so I can tell you that interim dividend is basically a distribution to shareholders that has been both declared and paid before a company has determined its full year earning. So such dividends are frequently distributed to the holders of a company's common stock on either a quarterly, or we can say semi-annual basis. So this is interim dividend. What is interim dividend? Interim dividend is basically the distribution that is to be made to the shareholders that has been both declared and paid before a company has determined its full year earnings. So this is interim dividend. Moving forward to the some advantages of interim dividend. Basically, we have some advantages of interim dividend, and we have some disadvantages of interim dividend as well. Now, what are the advantages of interim dividend? First advantage is the moral check. Basically, interim audit is useful to improve the moral standards, and an auditor checks the work of every person in this, and there is a moral check on each employee to complete his record as per rules. So that is why interim audit is very important. Second is important advantage of interim audit is the location of frauds. Basically, the fraud can be located due to interim audit, and the time because the time between compiling and checking accounts is very short. That is the why the location of fraud is possible, and we have sufficient time not to given to the employees in interim audit. So that is the reason interim audit is important. Next is the correction of errors. So the interim audit is helpful for correction of errors at the same time, and the financial statements can show true and fair view after the correction of errors in the books of accounts. So that is the reason this is the advantage of interim audit. Next advantage is the early completion of final audit. So the interim audit is helpful for the early completion of final audit, and the time spent on final audit is reduced due to interim audit. Next is the interim dividend. I have already discussed with you that what does interim dividend means. So basically, the interim audit is conducted to declare interim dividend, and the management can prepare interim accounts for dividend purposes, and the shareholders feel satisfaction over the business concern. That is the reason interim dividend is an advantage of interim audit. Next advantage is admission of partner. Basically, the admission of partner during the year is possible due to the interim audit, and there is a need of interim audit to determine the fair value of assets and liabilities, and the interim audit helps all partners to settle conditions. That is the reason it is the advantage of interim audit. Next advantage is the retirement of partner. So a partner may apply for retirement due to any reason. There is a need of interim audit for settlement of accounts, and the value of assets and liabilities are determined to find out capital of such partner. Next is advantage is the death of partner. So a partner may expire at any time during business life. So the capital of such partner is to be determined for final payment, and the interim audit is useful to settle this matter. Next is the advantage is fixing prices. Basically, the management has a right to fix the prices of goods and services, and the cost per unit is to be decided for adding profit percentages. So interim audit is desirable for fixing the selling prices. Next advantage is making investments. So basically, the interim audit is useful for the investors. Why? Because they can rely on audited accounts for making investments, and also the investors can buy and sell shares on the basis of interim audit. Next advantage is increasing profit. Basically, the management may be interested in raising profit levels, and the interim audit provides results about present profits, and the increases in profit is possible after the availability of interim accounts. The next important advantage is up-to-date records. So the benefit of interim audit is that accounting records is kept up to date, and the accounting staffs have duty to complete their work for interim audit, and thus delay in accounts are not possible. Next important advantages of interim audit is no overwork. So the work is distributed over the whole year, and the audit staff can complete the audit work as per timetable. Also, all employees feel satisfaction due to the even workload. Next is auditor's suggestion. Basically, the accounting staff can follow auditor's suggestion. During early times of accounting years, all ideas are acceptable, but at the end of the year it becomes difficult for accounting staff to add any item. So that is the reason auditor's suggestion is an important advantage in interim audit. So these were some important advantages of interim audit. Next we have some disadvantages of interim audit as well. So the first disadvantage of interim audit is figure alteration. So the limitation, or we can say the disadvantage of interim audit, that the accounting staff can alter figures after the completion of audit, and it creates confusion in the minds of the audit staff at the time of final audit. So this is a very big disadvantage of interim audit. Next disadvantage is additional work. So the demerit or disadvantage of interim audit is that there is additional workload on auditor staff, and it is not a part of final audit. So this audit work is treated as additional workload. So basically this is also a very big demerit or disadvantage of interim audit. Next is disadvantage is taking notes. Basically, the audit staffs are bound to take notes of balances and totals, or we can say subtotals. So if it is an attempt by the auditor to prevent the accounting staff for changing the facts and figures. So that is the reason we say that taking notes is a disadvantage. Next disadvantage is client work suffer. Basically, the interim audit creates trouble for accounting staff, and when the audit staff collects accounting books, the client's work suffers as the books are not available for making entries. So that is the reason it is a disadvantage of interim audit. Next next disadvantage is increased business expenses. So the demerit or disadvantage of interim audit is that it results in increased business expenses, and such audit is not compulsory. So it is optional for management, and also audit fee is an extra expense for business. So increased business expenses is also a demerit of interim audit. Next demerit is the useless for third parties. Basically, the demerit or disadvantage of interim audit is that it may not provide guidelines to the third parties, and the interim accounts are not final, so the figures may not be reliable for making decisions. So it is not reliable for making decisions, and that is the reason it is useful for the third parties. Next disadvantage is the irregular audit. So the interim audit is not conducted regularly in many concerns. Basically, the management may be interested in such audit for any purpose. So irregular audit cannot be used for the future plans. Basically, irregular audit cannot be used for the future plans. So these were some disadvantages of interim audit, and with this chapter comes to an end. Chapter 3 we discussed in almost 5 parts, so I want you people to go through every part of this chapter. अगर आप लोगों को कुछ समझ नहीं आ रही, still you have some ambiguity, you have some queries, you have some questions regarding this chapter, you can ask me anytime on your WhatsApp group. Again and again I say to all of you that to be very conscious about your assignments. जो भी मैं assignments देती हूँ, you need to be conscious about it, because I mark sessionals on the basis of such assignments. So again and again I'm telling you that be very careful about it, and since I'm marking your presence on the basis of this assignments, so आप लोगों को क्या करना है, इसके बारे में भी बहुत ज़्यादा conscious रहना है. और जब भी मेरा आप लोगों को लेक्चर मिलता है, उसी टाइम आप लोगों ने मुझे अपनी अटेंडेंस जो है वो टाइमली, जो भी आपकी क्लास का टाइम है उस टाइम पे दे देनी है. आप लोग मुझे बता देंगे कि आप लोग जो हैं वो अवेलेबल हैं इस टाइम, जो भी हमारा क्लास का टाइम है, जिस टाइम हमारी क्लास होती है, तो उस टाइम पे आप लोगों को अवेलेबल रहना है, और उसी टाइम पे ही आप लोगों ने मेरा लेक्चर जो है वो अटेंड करना है, और उसी टाइम पे ही आप लोगों की जो है अटेंडेंस मार्क हो रही है. ऑल्सो मुझे असाइनमेंट्स जो हैं वो इंडिविजुअली मत भेजा करें, व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप में मुझे मत भेजा करें. आप जो असाइनमेंट्स है वो अपने सीआर को भेजा करें, सीआर ही मुझे फॉरवर्ड करेगा या जीआर ही मुझे फॉरवर्ड करेगी. आप लोग मुझे असाइनमेंट्स खुद से मत भेजा करें. मैंने बार बार आपके सीआर को कहा है, इसलिए आप अपने सीआर से कोऑर्डिनेट कर लिया करें और मुझे असाइनमेंट्स भेज दिया करें. आवर थर्ड चैप्टर इज़ ऑलमोस्ट डन, इज़ डन already. So next we are going to discuss chapter number 4. Till then, take care and thank you so much.